Hello everyone, back again with movie and tune recap. Today, I'm going to explain an American psychological horror thriller film from 2018, titled Secret Santa. Spoilers ahead, so watch out and take care. The movie opens with a chaotic and violent scene of a dysfunctional family turning on one another during a Christmas gathering. The story starts when conceited socialite Sherry Pope hosts the event for her family, which includes her neurotic daughter April and her boyfriend Ty. Other guests include April's stuttering brother Kyle, their crude uncle Carter, Sherry's arrogant stepson Jackson, his stripper girlfriend Jacqueline, and April's disgruntled sister Penny. April and Ty are the first to arrive at Sherry's house, and after being shown their room, Sherry takes them to meet her sister, Carol. One by one, the rest of the family starts arriving, and as part of the rules for the gathering, Sherry asks everyone to put away their phones to avoid any distractions during dinner. Meanwhile, the audience sees a mysterious hand going through people's belongings, taking their car keys, and placing them into a jar. Soon after, Sherry's ex-husband Leonard, who is the father of all her children, arrives unexpectedly. Though Sherry is visibly unhappy about his presence, Leonard managed to blackmail her into letting him stay for the gathering. We also meet Chef Gordon, who is hired by Sherry for the party, along with his assistants, Tilda and Willie, who is secretly Kyle's gay lover. During dinner, a tense argument arises between Sherry and her daughters, April and Penny. April refuses to drink because she is a recovering alcoholic, while Penny is allergic to turkey, which is being served. Arguments escalate throughout the evening as everyone but April drinks punch. To diffuse the tension, April suggests they play Secret Santa, a game where each person picks a name and buys a gift for that person. Everyone has to guess who bought each gift, and the person with the most correct guesses becomes the game master the following year. The game starts off smoothly, but things take a turn when secrets are revealed. It comes out that Sherry had slept with her stepson Jackson, as well as with Carol's absentee husband. In turn, Carol confesses she had slept with Leonard, Sherry's ex-husband, and to make things even more uncomfortable, April admits to being involved in a childhood prank that emotionally scarred Penny. During Ty's turn, he proposes to April, and while everyone is initially happy for them, Penny ruins the moment. As the arguments continue to escalate, Leonard begins shouting for Carol, but Carter stands up for her, shouting in Leonard's face. Suddenly, Leonard snaps and kills Carter by stabbing him in the neck with a fork, and chaos erupts as family members and the caterers violently brawl with each other. Jacqueline tries to grab the phones to call the police, but Penny grabs the bowl of punch and pours it over the phones, sparking a physical fight between the two. The struggle intensifies until Penny holds Jacqueline at knife point. Meanwhile, Jackson, Gordon, and Willie manage to pin Leonard to the ground, but Penny demands that they release him, insisting she won't harm Jacqueline. Frustrated, Jackson makes Penny feel worthless by saying nobody in the family loves her, not even her own dad. As Penny continues to demand Leonard's release, Jackson confronts her, leading to a cut on his arm, which triggers a fight between them. Now free, Leonard attacks Gordon, but Willie knocks him unconscious by smashing a bottle over his head. When Jackson discovers what they've done to his father, he reacts with fury and begins attacking, but he too is knocked unconscious in the chaos. Still reeling from the chaos, the group locks the unconscious Leonard and Jackson in a bedroom, along with Carter's lifeless body. With Penny tied up and their phones no longer working, April suggests they go to their neighbors for help. However, Sherry and Ty disagree, fearing the situation will spread outside. April then offers to drive to the police station for help, but soon discovers her car keys are missing, and the others realize theirs are gone too. April and Kyle begin to suspect Penny is behind the missing keys, remembering similar behavior from their childhood. Penny reluctantly admits she took all their car keys and hid them in a jar, which is locked inside the bedroom with Leonard and Jackson. The tension grows further when Kyle and Sherry get into a heated argument after Tilda reveals that Kyle is gay, but the argument subsides when they hear Leonard's voice coming from the bedroom. With no choice, the group heads toward the bedroom, and April tries to convince Leonard, who is now conscious, to give them the keys. However, Leonard passes a decapitated hand under the door, leaving the group shocked, and moments later, they hear glass breaking in the room. It becomes clear that Leonard and Jackson have escaped through the window, and they have taken the jar of keys with them. With the maniacs roaming outside with the car keys, April, Ty, and Jacqueline volunteer to go to the neighbor's house to use their phone and call the cops. As the trio steps outside, they spot Jackson nearby and quickly hide behind a tree, and once he is out of sight, they continue on their way. April and Jacqueline start to wonder if the punch Jackson, Leonard, and others drank might have contained something that is responsible for their erratic behavior. Ty, who also drank the punch, dismisses their concern and devastates April by admitting he only wanted to marry her because of her family's wealth. Back at the house, Carol, who is unable to stay any longer, offers a $10,000 reward to anyone who will search for the missing car keys outside. Willie and Tilda agree to take up the offer, and once outside, Willie finds the jar of car keys but is attacked by Leonard, and Tilda watch as Leonard beats Willie to death. Meanwhile, inside the house, an argument erupts between Carol and Sherry, which quickly escalates into a brutal fight between the two women. As the fight between Carol and Sherry intensifies, Gordon flees outside, and when Kyle tries to intervene, he is knocked out. In the chaos, Sherry stabs Carol in the thigh with a knife, but Carol retaliates by choking Sherry. Struggling to break free, Sherry grabs a Christmas ornament and smashes it into Carol's face. However, Carol manages to pull the knife from her thigh and stabs Sherry before walking out of the house. Meanwhile, Gordon finds Tilda in his car, but just then, he is attacked and killed by Carol, and in a desperate act of revenge, Tilda kills Carol with the car keys. April, Ty, and Jacqueline finally make it to the neighbor's house, Denise and Albert, but as they arrive, Ty begins to show the effects of the punch, making him speak rudely to the neighbors. This sparks an argument, which quickly escalates into a physical altercation between everyone. Suddenly, Jackson appears and kills Denise and Albert with a shovel before turning his attention to Ty. He finishes off Ty with the same shovel. April and Jacqueline are forced to flee, with Jackson chasing them. As they run, they find Gordon's car but discover the keys are missing, and moments later, April is devastated to find her father dead from what seems to be a mutation. In a horrific turn, Tilda confronts April and Jacqueline, but after violently vomiting due to her own mutation, she drops dead. As they continue to flee from Jackson, April and Jacqueline manage to reunite with Kyle and Penny back at the house, where Penny is now free from her restraints thanks to Kyle's help. After discovering Sherry's lifeless body, April, who is filled with rage, confronts her sister, realizing that Penny orchestrated the chaotic events of the evening. When Penny refuses to speak about the punch, April and Jacqueline attempt to force her to drink it, and April accuses her of using the punch to cause harm, especially since it has killed those who drank it. Penny finally admits that she drugged the punch with experimental military-grade sodium pentothal from their father's pharmaceutical company, intending for everyone to tell the truth. However, she didn't anticipate the deadly side effects, and the punch spiraled out of control. Meanwhile, Kyle, who also drank the punch, begins to panic and fear for his life, and as tensions rise, the group is suddenly interrupted by Jackson, who enters the house through the window. A violent fight breaks out between Jackson and the others as they struggle with him. April, Kyle, and Penny join the fight, but Jackson proves to be too strong for them, and just as things seem hopeless, Jacqueline sneaks up from behind and breaks Jackson's neck. However, to their shock, Sherry, who is still alive, unexpectedly stabs Jacqueline in the back with a Christmas tree star, and in a fit of rage and pent-up frustration, Penny turns on her mother and repeatedly stabs her to death. The horror continues as Kyle, who is now mutated, attacks Penny in a terrifying act. His body has undergone a horrific transformation, and in his dying moments, he vomits his poisoned blood into Penny's mouth before collapsing dead. The mutation has consumed him, and Penny is left struggling as the last two survivors of this nightmare, and exhausted, both Penny and April collapse. The following day, as the sun rises, April regains some strength and heads to the balcony. However, Penny, who is now fully infected and mutated, suddenly rises from the ground and attacks her sister. In a horrific struggle, Penny jams her fingers into April's mouth, attempting to rip out her tongue, and in a desperate act of survival, April bites off one of Penny's fingers. In the chaos, April accidentally knocks Penny over the balcony, and she falls to her death, her body hitting the snowy ground below. The scene then shifts to a cheerful family of 5 driving home, and during their conversation, they nearly hit April, who stumbles into the road in a dazed state. The man from the car steps out to check on her, and in a delirious state, April begins blaming herself for organizing the disastrous family dinner that led to her family's brutal deaths. April, who is now showing signs of the same disturbing behavior as the others before her, suddenly attacks the family's father, and the movie concludes. Okay guys, that's all the recap about Secret Santa from 2018. Thanks for watching, see you again in the next video.